Hello, hi. Good evening. So, welcome to yet another session and Ayurveda. Good evening, Kavita. So, today I'll be talking about bone health. So, this is something which is very interesting, and in practice, also, we get a lot of cases associated with bone and joint. And Ayurveda somehow is extremely good in managing bone and joint health. Okay, so I think we can start. Okay, so welcome to this session of Ask Me Anything. Okay, you can ask me questions once I finish with my presentation. It'll be a very short presentation on bone health and Ayurveda's perspective on how Ayurveda looks at bone health. Okay, so the Ayurvedic term for bone is asthi, which many of you might be knowing. Okay, so asthi is the word for bone. Asti. The name Asti is from the word sthir or sthi. Stha is basically to be stable. So something which is very stable and which can actually give a little bit of stability to your body is Asti. Okay, that's the word meaning of Asti. So it is dharana basically. Dharana is basically holding the body. So Asti is that tissue. We have got 7 tissues in the body. We call that sapta dhatus. And that is basically the whole structure of the body is the sapta dhatus or the 7 tissues. And they are rasa, rakta, mamsa, medas, asti, majja, shukra. Rasa is basically the whole nutrition which circulates all around the body. Okay, rakta is the blood, mamsa is the muscle, medas is the fat, asti is the bone, majja is the marrow, and shukra is the reproductive fluids. So these we have got a typical way in which these 7 dhatus are formed. The first thing, rasa, is basically nutrition, and you know that the whole body is basically starts with the nutrition which we get from the mom. Okay, when we are in the tummy, so it starts from the and from the rasa, the rakta is formed. So we have got an order in which the construction, the dhatu formation and depletion is something which is very interesting. So from rasa, the rakta is formed, from rakta mamsa, from mamsa medas. So it is in order. Okay, so if your rasa dhatu or the nutrition from the food which you take is not proper, you'll see a lot of deficiency. Your blood is not proper, and if your rasa and rakta is not proper, then your muscle, your mamsa is not proper. So it is like that, So last it goes up to shukra or your reproductive function. So it all depends upon from the rasa. And when we have got a depletion as we age, construction happens from rasa, rakta, mamsa, medas, asti, majja, shukra. And when depletion happens, it starts from shukra. The first thing that goes is the reproductive strength, then the marrow, and then your bone starts becoming weak, then your muscle, then slowly, and then you lose your rasa and then you die. Okay, so the construction happens in one order and the destruction happens in another order. And asti in that is very, very, very important. Okay, so we have got these dhatus which you saw the seven, and uh, there's something called ashraya, in the sense which dosha is predominantly in which dhatu. We see that in the asti dhatu we have got more of vata. Okay, and in rakta we have got more of pitta, and in kapha we have got all others. It is basically kapha. The main thing is that when pitta goes up, the quality of rakta goes up. When kapha goes up, everything goes up. But in vata it's entirely opposite. In the sense, when your vata goes up, the quality of your bone goes down, and when vata goes down, the quality, when vata is kept under control, the quality of your bone also goes up. So this is something which you have to understand. Very, very important as far as Ayurvedic principles go. Okay, and when you look at kapha, vata, pitta, kapha, as far as child age goes, you are born with as a kapha stage, and slowly as you reach middle age, you become pitta stage, and your old age is vata. This is for everybody. Okay, it is not that, and for a person who is predominantly vata person, he will be more of vata as he grows old. Okay, so when, as I said, when vata goes up, the quality of asti goes down. The same thing happens with age. So the old, and in old age you are automatically going to vata stage, and your vata is up. So what happens? The quality of your bone goes down. So that you would have noticed that as people age, the quality of their bone goes down. It's got what an easy chance of fracture and different issues with the bone. So age is one factor for bone health. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. So you've got different conditions. Okay, osteoporosis is an extreme condition, but lack of bone strength is called osteopenia, where the what do you call, the density of the bone goes down and the strength also goes down. As it progresses, okay, it will lead to osteoporosis. Porosis is pores, and you will have the density of the bone really goes down, and the bones start becoming porous. When you take an X-ray or a scan, you'll see it's full of pores, and you've got an easy chance of it fracturing. So when we say that, Ayurvedically we say vata is more in asti, and if you look at the modern science, you've got the sorry, the cells of the bone, they're called osteoblasts. Basically they're all hollow cells. Even though we think that the bone is hard, yes, I do agree, but it is actually it is made of hollow cells. Okay, it contains a lot of, in our language, contains a lot of akasha and vayu in it. Okay, so that's the reason we say that the bone is more of vata. Okay, so what happens? How does the bone get weak? There are a lot of causative factors. Anything which increases vata will actually reduce the quality of bones. That's what I said. So irregular food, if you take food on time, your kapha is maintained. But if you keep on skipping meals and you have irregular food, it actually goes bad. Too much of spicy and bitter foods or astringent foods, if you start taking, your vata will go up and the quality of your bone will go down. And vidahi is acidic food, might be alcohol or too much of vinegar, okay, and too much of dry foods. In the sense, there are a lot of people who eat bread. Excessive consumption of fermented food is actually not so good for your bones. Okay, vihara is your lifestyle. Over exertion, somebody who does too much of exercise or too much of travel, it's actually not very good. Ratri jagra is not sleeping at night. If you are habitually not sleeping at night, your vata really goes up and the quality of your bone goes down. Upavasa, for somebody who takes a lot of fasting, even a systematic fasting, like, once a month you do it's not like that. They do a lot of upavasa, they do a lot of following a lot of rituals, they do too much of upavasa. It is not good for your bone health. Okay, so why do we have to manage the health of the bone? Okay, so astic kshaya is a condition where you have got less bone strength, and when you've got less bone strength, you have got a chance of fracture, and that happens mostly in old age, and that has to be prevented. So chance of fracture is very high. And bone is one of the most important mineral storage places. We think that bone is made mostly of calcium. Yes, it does contain calcium, phosphorus, other things, but small minerals bone actually holds a lot of minerals, and if the bone health goes down, we have got a depletion of vital minerals from the body. And it is a place of vata, so it has to be managed, because as we old age we get into vata stage, and it is very important that we maintain that health. Now, how do we manage this? Okay, same thing, asikshaya, food and activities to boost strength. You have to see that you indulge in good nutritious food, okay, to increase the bone strength. And you know what, don't, as I said before, don't stay awake at night, don't do over exercise. Just you have to do everything that will take control vata. Application of oil on the body, taking shower, not getting too exposed to cold, all these things will basically take care of your bone really well. Chances of fracture, so you have to be extremely careful. The sense, as people grow old, you see that they don't fall down. You have to have railings where they catch hold and walk. See that they do not fall. Once they fall, very high chance that they get a fracture. Especially what happens is basically the hip joint that fractures a lot. Very careful. So bone is one of the, as I said, it is the store of minerals. So nutrition rich food, not only calcium. Calcium is only one part of it. Okay, people are extremely focused about taking calcium, but it's got close to about 60 to 65 minerals deposited. Iron, phosphorus, magnesium, lot of minerals come from the bone. So if you stay awake at night and you are, your metabolism unnecessarily goes up, this nutrition, lot of nutrition is actually taken from the bone. Okay, and it is a place of vata, as I said. So all vata reducing regimens have to be followed to basically take care of the bone. So taking care of the bone is very, very important, because that is the one that gives us this shape. Okay. So if you have got any questions, you can ask me. Okay, we can get into the question and answer. If you've got any questions, you can ask me. Osteoporosis is, we just call it astikshaya. Okay, 1 second, yeah. The Ayurvedic you meant treatment, okay. Ayurvedic treatment for osteoporosis, I heard Ayurvedic. So osteoporosis is a condition where the bone gets extremely porous, okay. And taking the right kind of nutrition is very important. And as I said, at any given point of time, you cannot avoid sleeping at night. Calcium rich food is very important. Milk and milk products are very good to manage vata. Ghee is very good. There are a lot of medicines, kashayams, which actually reduce vata. That is Maharasnadi kashayam, or Rasnarindadi kashayam. A lot of Ashtavarma kashayam, a lot of kashayams which actually manage vata a lot. Application of oil on the body and taking shower on a warm water shower on a regular basis is very, very, very important. Food is the most important thing here. Taking food on regular basis. The reason why the bone has become porous is because, as I said, it is a deposit of all minerals. Once you don't take your food really well, the body will start taking the minerals and all those things from the bone. So you actually having nutritious food is very, very, very important for you to manage osteoporosis. What does it mean when our bones crack at a young age, especially? Oh, you mean the popping of the joints? You mean, or the joints of the bone? It could be the joints, right? Where you crack it, you hear the popping. See, that is the popping of the bone is basically because there is as you move, there is a lot of things happening and activities happening in the body, and air sometimes gets trapped in the joints. And when you do this, you hear that popping tuck 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 sound. That is absolutely not at all bad when you have got those popping sounds in the joint. You don't have to bother too much, if that's what you meant. You don't have to bother too much. Okay, but it is very important to see that you do regularly physical exercises and see that the muscles around the joint are kept strong. According to Ayurveda, it's very clearly given that the joint pain or sandhi vedana has been given in mamsaksha. That means when there is a reduction of muscle strength, you get joint pain. Joint pain has not been mentioned in bones, it has been mentioned in when there is depletion or when there is lack of strength of muscle. So that also has to be taken care of. Any other question? Doing Abhyangam daily can help slow down. Yes, Lakshmi. What? See, Abhyangam is something which says Abhyangam ajaret nityam sa jarashrama vataha. That actually, see, it manages, it delays your aging. That doesn't mean that you will not die. Okay. The process of you will age gracefully, we call that. It helps you age gracefully. It manages your tiredness, and it manages vata. It reduces vata to a large extent. So when vata is reduced to a large extent, your bone health automatically improves. And there are specific oils also for bone, like laksha tailam and all is specifically indicated for bone health. Yes, applying oil on the body on a daily basis, I would say that's what Ayurveda says, Abhingamadrit Nityam. But on a regular basis, apply oil and take shower in warm water. It will improve your bone health. What are the signs of bone weakness? Do we feel when our bones are weak? Okay, people have got this, some people have got this misconception that bone is the one that is the strongest thing in the body. Okay, to a large extent, I don't say it's right, because if you look at, bone is the one that gives the structure and the shape. It's like a building, you have got this metal rods. Metal rods only give the shape for the building. The strength of the building is what the cement and the mortar and all the things which you push, you put it inside that. The same way, the bone only gives shape. If you don't have all this tissue around it, your skeleton will just collapse. It is the soft, what you call tissues, like the ligaments, the muscles, especially the muscles, they are the real shock absorbers. So your muscles have to be really strong for your bones also to be healthy. So if you take the right kind of food, the muscles actually are the things which are around the bones. They support the bone and give it a lot of nutrition. The muscle is very important. Soft tissues are more important to give strength to the bone. Okay, so when our bones are weak, you start, getting tired is very, very, very a normal thing. And when you know that the bones are weak, as I said before, you are depleted of nutrition. Okay, that is where weakness is very, very, is a very common thing. Sometimes pain in the bones, especially when you walk for some time and come, your bones start paining. And sometimes when they get exposed to even a little bit of cold, the bones start getting affected. So you can make out that the bones are weak. Very rarely you'll see bones start bending. Okay, those are very extreme cases. Otherwise, if you have not done, sometimes we feel that the pain in the bone is basically that the bone is really bad, but no, it is because the muscles are not toned. Focus more on doing a lot of exercise and getting your muscles toned. Foods that improve bone health. Okay, anything that is slightly on the sweeter side. Okay, I don't say sweets like laddu or jalebi. Anything that is on the sweeter side, slightly on the sour side, not extreme sour things, will actually improve your bone health. Milk is a very good thing. Rice is a very good thing that will improve your bone health. Ghee will improve your bone health. And curd, yes, to a small extent, yes, it will also improve your bone health. Green leafy vegetables, and by and large, sticking to your traditional food and eating on time is more important. If you eat the wrong kinds of food, is also bad. But even if you're eating the right kind of food, but you're missing your meals, is actually not very good. So eating whatever food you eat, if you look at our ancestors, they never ate all these exquisite foods and also, but they had this habit of eating on time. They ate whatever they got on time, and they were healthy. So eating on time is very important. And see that the food which you eat is always with all the tastes. That will improve your general health. As your general health improves, your bone health also will improve. What does the Ayurveda take on strength training and cardio? People usually say that we should strength train. Yeah, see, Ayurveda talks about exercise. And when Ayurveda talks about exercise, it says that Ardha Shaktya Nishe Vastu. That means use only half your strength to do exercise. See, nowadays, what people are basically trying to get is a designer body, and they go extreme. Extreme always is not good. You have to do strength training. Strength training doesn't mean that you lift weights which you lift with a lot of difficulty. You lift light weights. Even you can do it at home also. You lift light weights, but it's always good that you do multiple repetitions with that light weight and see that your muscle, whatever muscles you have got, are toned, because the strength of the muscle is definitely the strength of the body. But I don't want you to do too much and say strength training is the best and cardio is bad. No, you should have a mixture of both. But I would say either way, don't overdo. Should women strength train? Yeah, women are not any different. They have to definitely do strength training. It is not about you building muscle. Don't. It's not about bodybuilding here. Doing little bit of mild to moderate strength training is very, very important for everybody. If you have a fracture, how can we heal it through Ayurveda post surgery? See, one thing which you have to note is that the knee or the ankle or the hip is the weight bearing joints of the body. So the moment you get injured in this part, the first thing what you have to do is you have to cut the amount of food. Okay, the amount of food. I don't want to say by half. You have to considerably reduce the amount of food, because it is very important that if suppose you are about 60 to 70 kilos when you had that fracture, and you are on a cast, you are lax and sitting, you are bored, you keep on eating, and in 2 months or so, the everything is fine, and you put your leg down. By the time you have put on 10 kilograms, that part which got fractured is weak. Plus, you have put on another 10 kilograms. That's extra strain on the joint, and it is very difficult for it to heal. So what you have to do is you have to cut down on the food, and you have to start losing weight. If you lose weight healthily, if you start losing weight, your joint will actually repair faster. Okay, and after that, yes, we have got a lot of treatments where we do, we have got dhara, we have got lepa and all those things, which will actually give a lot of strength to the joint where the fracture has happened. We can handle it. But this is very important. You cannot afford to put on weight post an injury to your foot. Is degenerative disease like osteoarthritis reversible? Osteoarthritis is again a condition where your joints have rubbed against it, and you have got a degeneration of the joint. It is never, see, once it is degenerated, it is not completely you cannot regenerate it, but you can manage it. As I said before, Sandhi Vedana has been mentioned in Mamsakshaya or muscle weakness. So if you basically increase the strength of the muscles around the joint, the joint is held in place, and we have got treatment procedures which will actually help you increase the strength of the joint. So if the strength of the joint muscles are increased and the joint is held in place, you can definitely manage your osteoarthritis, and you can do a lot of things without too much of effort, but you cannot regenerate the bone there. For a person with constipation since childhood, maybe due to leprosy, how can they make sure to empty their bowels on a daily basis? Okay, here emptying the bowel on a regular basis is something which we Indians are extremely focused on, and that's what our text also says, that you have to pass your motions on a daily basis. So by prakriti, yes, there are some people who are habitually constipated. Not that they don't pass motion, but it's very difficult for them to pass. Okay, and if they are specifically, if they are vata prakriti, then they'll have difficulty in passing motions. So it is, you don't we don't basically give the same kind of medicines for everybody. There are a lot of churnas which are available, powders which are available in the market, which will relieve constipation like Triphala churna. But what happens with Triphala churna is, churna powder is something, if it gets, you notice that any powder you put into a moist place, it absorbs the moisture. So same thing happens when a person his gut is dry. You give Triphala churna, after a point of time, that Triphala churna will not help you pass motion. They'll say, in spite of taking Triphala churna, I'm constipated. They'll complain and say, Triphala churna is bad. No, Triphala churna is a wrong choice. Now, if your gut is dry, what you have to do is you have to give something which will lubricate that person, see that the person passes motion. So something with ghee base or something with castor oil base would be a better choice than something which a powder if the gut is extremely dry. Okay. I've been diagnosed with osteoporosis. Yes, Dhanvantaran Thailam on for daily Abhyangam is actually good. Okay, oil is not the issue here, Kavita. I feel that apart from that, you also have to do some physical activity and get the muscles around the joint strengthened. Okay, then only, when the muscles are strengthened, they're toned, that means they get shorter, they pull the joint, so a gap is created over there, and it gives time and space for the joint to heal. And then you keep on doing exercise, you keep on sometimes what happens is, some people do exercise and they see that the joint pain is gone, they immediately relax, the joint pain again comes. Once you know that you have got a weak spot, you keep on maintaining it and keep on doing strengthening exercises. And sometimes if you're overweight, see that you lose weight, because that whole weight also comes on your joint. Yes, you can use Dhanvantaran Thailam and see that you eat the right kind of food. Avoid to excessive spicy, sour, and salty foods. I think you're going to be fine, Kavita. Ayurveda does not speak about proteins and less carbs. I don't want to go there at all. To lose weight, you look at, first of all, try to find out why you put on that weight. If it is because of some ailment like thyroid or some other issue, I don't want to get into diseases. If it is because of that, then that has to be managed. Or if you look, 90% of the time, the reason why the person puts on weight is because the calorie input is more than the calorie output. So that is somewhere you have to manage. It is not only about the protein or carbs and all those things. If by and large your portion size has to go down, that means your calorie input goes down, and your calorie output has to be in excess. It is just mathematical thing, and you have to be extremely systematic about it. No cheatings. Okay, high calorie food, once in a while you had sweets, all those things don't work. If you are systematic and disciplined, you can definitely lose weight. There are other treatments also, like Uddhavartanam, where we do powder massage, where we forcefully break the fat cells. Yes, those things will help, but at the end of the day, you being disciplined and knowing what to do is very important. Panchakarma is a huge topic here. Okay. I'll tell you, Panchakarma are the 5 cleansing processes which we have. Okay, it doesn't mean that when a person comes to you, a person has to undergo all the 5. There are 5 which you can choose. It is basically helping a person pass motions. It's all with medicines, and then making a person vomit. And medicated enema, pouring medicine inside the nose. It's called nasya, and also removing blood. These are 5 ways in which we cleanse the body. It doesn't mean that a person has to undergo all the 5, and this is usually done when the disease is slightly chronic, or there are a lot of doshas which has to be expelled. Okay, plus the person also should have a little bit of strength. Either of these things are missing, I don't think the person is you have to do Panchakarma as a curative process. But by and large, when annual health maintenance, yes, people do a little bit in a mild way. They can do Panchakarma to stay healthy. Okay, in the sense, as just like your car goes in for service, your body also can go in for service, and periodically the toxins are removed so that you can live a much healthier life. Okay, because Panchakarma is a huge topic. Anything you can manage most of the things with Panchakarma. Panchakarma is the last resort. If a person doesn't have strength, and then you can't give him Panchakarma. Or if the doshas are very little, small issue, don't go for Panchakarma. You can actually pacify it. Okay. Any other question? Thank you, Hem. See, popping is different. Okay, here a popping is, when you stretch it, tuck, you can feel a sound from a joint. That is basically popping of the joint. But when you hear the crackling sound, crack, 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 that is a different thing altogether. Yes, an overweight person, over a period of time, the whole weight comes on the knees, and slowly, and the person's got absolutely no exercise. The joints are not strong, and then the joints are not held in place. The bones start rubbing, and that sound also you hear. Okay, so yes, what the doctor says is very good. It is because of the weight, and that is the major reason. Okay, why the health of the joint has gone down. The person has to lose weight here. Okay, that's not popping sound. That is basically crack, crack, crack. The sound where the joints keep on rubbing. You hear the crackling sound from the joint. Maha Tripala Gridam. Yes, Tripala Gridam is actually good. Mahatripala Gridam is good for eye health. Yes. But a lot of other things also you have to do, like, reducing screen time, sleeping well. Okay. Food, extremely spicy food is not good for the eyes. Anything you do where the pitta really goes up, where the heat of the body goes up, alcohol, too much of spicy food, staying awake at night, pouring hot water on the head, all those things which increase the heat of the body are not good for the eyes. I don't want to discourage patients. Okay, walking. Yeah. See, it all depends upon to what extent the degeneration has happened. If the degeneration is really bad, then they'll not be in a position to walk. Okay. So what I usually tell them is, I tell them to sit on a raised platform with a leg hanging down, and ask them to do exercises without the body weight coming on the knees, so that the knees are actually strengthened. And once the knees are strengthened, then it might be easier for them to walk with all the body weight, rather than telling them to immediately walk. If they're extremely heavy, then they see they have to lose the weight, they have to cut down the food immediately, a lot of food, and then they have to slowly start bringing the weight down. But exercising and the muscles around the knees is what my approach would be first. See, Hira, I don't know if you have got really bad eyesight, or somebody's got really bad eyesight, then you'll have to go through a consultation. Okay. Otherwise, whatever I said, all those things will help maintain your eyesight. And one bad thing which people always, I was just about to tell you that one thing which can actually disturb your eyesight is reading while you're traveling. Okay, you see a lot of people sitting in the bus and reading, it's shaking. The book is shaking, but they're still reading. Okay, it'll actually never read when you are traveling. On a train might be fine, flight might be fine when it doesn't move, but otherwise, never do that. Okay, medicines. I think it's better if eyesight is bad. It's better you go through a proper consultation and treatment. Uh, Climbing stairs with knee pain is not an easy thing. Okay. If there is a situation where you have to climb the stairs, then what you have to do is see that you use the other leg. If you have got pain in both legs, then it is very difficult. If one leg is paining, use the other leg to climb. And if you keep on doing that, what will happen is the other leg will also start getting affected, because climbing up and down the stairs is actually strain for the knees. I would recommend, if your knees are not that good, don't climb stairs. Ayurvedic tests. You mean the Prakriti analysis? I would actually suggest Hira to go online and go through. You have got numerous tests which are there on online, and it is not. I would say it is not as good as you actually going to a doctor, sitting with him, and then getting your Prakriti analysis, because online it can go wrong. Okay, I don't want to give you any reliable test there. Ideal weight to carry on walk. Ideal weight in the sense, see, ideal weight, if you look at it, depends from person to person. Height versus weight is what we see. Normally, normal calculation is say if you take your height in centimeters. If you are 162, just an example, if you're 170 centimeters, we say centimeters minus 100. So 170 minus 100 is 70. Okay. So weight in centimeters minus 100 can be your weight in kilograms. So if you're 170 centimeters, your weight should be somewhere around 70 kilograms. That should be your ideal weight. Okay. Ayurveda says milk is very nourishing. Any alternative to milk? The only alternative to milk is milk, Hira. Okay. There isn't any alternative milk. Cow's milk is the best, in my opinion. Okay. You have eye floaters. Yeah, eye floaters is something which can be managed. If you note, okay, Hem Vaidya, there is an Ayurvedic hospital in Kerala by the name Sridhariyam. It is a 350 bedded Ayurvedic hospital only for eye. Okay, they manage a lot of things, and even for Hira, you asked me that question about eye. They are one of the best people who manage all eye issues. Okay, Hem, it can be managed. Any other questions? Or shall we wind up? We can have it next week, no issues. Is paneer good for the gut? See, here there is nothing like good or bad. It all depends upon the condition. And paneer, if you are somebody who takes food only twice a day and sleeps early at about 9:30, gets up in the morning at about 6, you go take a shower, you do your puja, whatever it is, you go for a walk, exercise, and come back, and you have your first meal at about 10:30. By the time you are really, really, really hungry and your fire is burning, you have a couple of pieces of paneer, not on a daily basis, once in a while. It doesn't create a problem. But otherwise, paneer is something which is not very easy to digest. Okay, it is extremely heavy. So it depends upon condition to condition. Anything you eat, if you are moderate with things, you in moderation, it is actually okay with you. Like, some people ask me about cheese. I say, yeah, some people do eat cheese, but everything in moderation. That doesn't mean that, some other food like milk is good. That doesn't mean that you can drink 1 or 2 liters of milk a day. That also should be in moderation. That finding that right balance is very important. People pursuing spirituality reduce their food intake. What does Ayurveda? Spiritual in I don't okay, let me try to answer your question, understand your question. People who are on the spiritual path are people who are not doing too many things physically. Okay, we call them yogi. That means they are actually, yoga means union. Okay, they are trying to get united with the higher self, so we call them yogi. So as per the yogi achara, they eat only once a day. Okay, so for such people, since they are not doing anything physically, they don't do too much of walking. They are always sitting and in penance or doing something like that. So they do a little bit of walking. For them, they eat only once. So yogi people have to eat only once. But Ayurvedically, we don't say that you have to cut down on the food because on they are on that path. Probably they feel that that's all they need, so they reduce it to once. So yogis eat only once. Okay. So thanks a lot. Good night. I will see you next week with some other topic. If you have got suggestions, you can actually uh, directly message me on my Instagram, and then we can have some nice discussions. Okay. Good night.